Hey, everybody, and welcome back. We're doing a deep dive today on something I think you're really going to like, making your life easier, specifically renewing your passport. We've got this press release right from the U.S. Department of State, the folks who know all about passports,
hmm
and it is full of really exciting news.
It's really interesting, actually, the timing on this, because it's coming out right after President Biden's executive order to make government services better for everybody. I think this is a sign of bigger changes to come. The government going digital in a big way.
Yeah, that's a great point. Seems like the government is finally getting with the times. Speaking of making things easier, remember those 18 weeks we all had to wait for a new passport? Gone. According to this press release, they're officially launching online passport renewal. It went live as of September 18th, 2024. They already cut the processing times down to 6 to 8 weeks, and this online system should be even faster.
That's a huge win for everybody. No more printing applications, searching for stamps, going to the post office, and no more tracking that envelope and worrying where it is.
Yeah, right. Just imagine what you could do with all that extra time. Maybe you could finally plan that trip to Merida, Mexico you've been thinking about. And speaking of Merida, if you want to learn more about the history and culture there and get all the latest news, check out Merida Magic on YouTube. And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Great idea. That's the perfect example of how tech can give us back our time to do the things we love.
Absolutely. But, okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's really dig into how this new online system actually works. The press release mentions they're making it super secure and easy to use, but what does that actually mean?
I think that's the big question. They don't give us a step-by-step in the press release,
Yeah.
but they definitely stress that it's a secure platform to protect our info.
That's good to hear. I know I would be a little nervous to put my personal information online if I wasn't sure it was safe.
For sure. And as far as being user-friendly, it sounds like they're going for something that anyone can use, even if you aren't really comfortable with computers.
So it's not going to feel like I'm trying to, decode some crazy government form.
Nope. They want it to be more like buying something online.
That's great. Here's what's interesting to me. The press release is actually really encouraging everyone to apply online. They even give us the website, travel.state.gov/online.
Oh, wow. It sounds like they're really promoting this new system.
Yeah, they are.
So they aren't just making it an option. They're saying, hey, we made this awesome new tool, so come use it.
I love that. It's so refreshing to see the government embracing this kind of thing.
It really is. It feels like they're acknowledging how people actually live their lives today.
Okay, but let's take a step back for a minute before we all book our dream vacations. What's the big picture impact of all this? What does it mean for government services as a whole?
Interesting question. I think this is just the beginning. This passport thing is like a pebble in a pond. The ripples are going to spread way beyond passport renewals. This could be the start of something really big. Imagine interacting with the government being as easy as ordering groceries online.
Wow. Okay, so this isn't just about convenience. This is like a fundamental shift in how people engage with the government.
Exactly. Think about it. What else could be streamlined? Filing taxes, registering to vote, applying for permits. This could completely change the way we do everything with the government.
That's huge, and especially for people who have a hard time getting to government offices, like people in rural communities or people with disabilities.
Right. This could be a game changer for accessibility. It could make government services more fair for everyone.
I love it.
Yeah.
But I also have to wonder, are there any downsides to all of this? What are the challenges in making this vision a reality?
Yeah, that's a good point. There are definitely some hurdles. I think one of the biggest ones is going to be making sure everyone has access. Not everybody has a computer or reliable internet.
That's true. So how do we fix that? It seems like offering all these online services could actually make things worse for the people who are already left behind.
Absolutely. So we need to make sure we have a plan for those folks, too. Maybe investing in public computer centers.
Yeah.
Offering classes on how to use computers and the internet. And keeping some offline options available as well. It's about meeting people where they are.
That makes sense. What other potential roadblocks do you see?
Well, cybersecurity is a big one. The more sensitive information we put online, the more vulnerable we are to hackers.
Right. I mean, all those data breaches we hear about all the time, it's a scary thought. How do we know these systems are going to be safe enough to protect our information?
Well, we need to have really strong security measures in place. Things like multi-factor authentication, data encryption, and regular security audits. It's a constant battle to stay one step ahead of the bad guys.
And it's not just about preventing attacks, right? It's also about knowing what to do if something does happen.
Exactly. You have to have a plan to respond quickly and be open about it. Rebuilding trust after a breach is hard. So being transparent and committed to fixing things is really important.
So it's like walking a tightrope. You want these systems to be easy to use, but also super secure.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's going to take a lot of collaboration between security experts and the people who design these systems, and of course the policymakers who make the rules.
This all comes back to what we were talking about before. This move toward online services is really about putting people first.
Exactly. It's about giving people more control and making sure their needs are being met. It's about transparency and accountability.
I like that. It feels like a step toward rebuilding trust between people and the government.
I agree. And this passport thing is just the first step. It shows how other government services can be improved and modernized.
It's an exciting time to be watching all this happen.
It really is.
Okay, so we've talked about the potential benefits and the challenges, but let's get down to brass tacks. If I'm sitting at home and I'm ready to renew my passport online, what should I expect?
Well, the first thing you do is go to that website we mentioned before, travel.state.gavin online.
Okay, let's say I'm on the website now.
Okay, so the first thing you'll need to do is create an account. Just basic stuff like your name, birth date, passport number.
Makes sense. Okay, so what about the passport photo?
Ah, yes, the dreaded passport photo. You'll need to upload a digital photo that meets the requirements. But don't worry, there are tons of resources online that can help you get the right kind of photo.
Got it. So I've uploaded my photo. What's next?
Okay, then you'll answer some questions about your travel plans. And pay the renewal fee online. No more stamps or trips to the post office.
Nice. Super convenient. And then what? What happens after I submit everything?
You can track the status of your application online, and they'll send you updates by email. No more wondering where your passport is.
Sounds amazing. Almost too good to be true. Are there any catches? Like, are there times when I can't renew online?
Yeah, there are a few exceptions. If it's your first passport ever, or if your old passport was lost or stolen, or if you need to change your name or any other personal information, then you'll still have to apply in person.
Okay, so there are some limitations. But for most people, this is a big improvement.
It is. And as more people start renewing online, it'll probably free up resources for the people who do have to apply in person. So it's a win-win.
I'm really impressed with how much thought they seem to have put into this new system.
Me too.
It really feels like a step in the right direction.
It really does.
It's about making the government work better for everyone.
Definitely.
Okay, well, this conversation has been super interesting. We've covered a lot of ground. The exciting news about online passport renewal, the potential impact on the future of government services, and even the practical steps of using the new system.
I know, right?
It's been a wild ride.
It has. The world of government services is changing so fast.
It really is. Before we move on, though, I just want to remind everyone, if you're interested in learning more about Merida, Mexico, check out Merida Magic on YouTube. They've got some fantastic videos about the city's history, culture, and all the latest news. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah, great channel. Anyone who's thinking about visiting Merida should definitely check it out.
Speaking of exciting possibilities, I have one final question for you before we wrap up.
I'm ready.
Okay, so if this online passport renewal is just the beginning, what other government services could we see going digital like this? What would a truly citizen-centric government look like in the digital age?
Whoa, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I think the possibilities are endless. Imagine renewing your driver's license online, registering your car, even voting from your couch. We're talking about a total transformation in how we interact with the government.
It sounds amazing, but I also have to wonder about the downsides. Like, what about security? Are we just making ourselves more vulnerable to hackers by putting even more sensitive information online?
Yeah, that's a valid concern for sure, and it's something we have to take very seriously. Cybersecurity has to be the top priority as we move towards a more digital government.
Absolutely. So it's not just about convenience. It's about building trust.
Exactly. People need to know their information is safe.
And they need to feel confident using these online services.
Right. We can't just say, trust us, your data is safe. We have to show people that it's true. We need to be transparent about how we're protecting their information.
And what about the digital divide? How do we make sure everyone has access to these services, regardless of their income or their tech skills?
That's another big piece of the puzzle. We need to invest in digital literacy programs, make sure everyone has access to affordable internet, and provide support for the people who need help navigating these new technologies.
It sounds like building a truly digital government is a huge undertaking.
It is.
It's not just about creating fancy websites and apps. It's about addressing these bigger issues of security, equity, and trust.
You got it.
It's about using technology to empower people, not to create new barriers.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, this has been an incredibly thought-provoking conversation.
I know, right?
I feel like I have a much better understanding of the possibilities and the challenges ahead.
Me too.
I'm excited to see what the future holds. So on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this part of our deep dive. But before we go, I want to remind everyone that the new online passport renewal system is available now. You can find it at travel.state.gov online. Give it a try and let us know what you think.
And for those of you who are dreaming of warmer weather, don't forget to check out Merida Magic on YouTube. They have tons of great information on the history, culture, and latest happenings in Merida, Mexico. Be sure to like and subscribe to their channel.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of online passport renewals and the future of government services. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep questioning the world around you.
Yeah, it really is like a pebble in a pond, you know?
Yeah.
The ripples are going to go way beyond just passports. This is like a sneak peek into the future. Imagine interacting with the government being as easy as ordering stuff online.
Oh, I like that. So we aren't just talking about making things a little more convenient here. This is a whole new way of thinking about how we interact with the government.
Exactly. Think about all the other stuff we have to do with the government. Taxes, voting, permits. This could totally revolutionize it all.
I mean, that would be amazing. Especially for people who can't easily get to government offices. You know, people in rural areas, people with disabilities.
Right. It could really level the playing field, make things more equitable for everyone.
Okay, but let's be realistic for a second. It's a great vision. But what are the challenges in actually making it happen?
Well, for one thing, not everyone has equal access to technology. We can't just assume everyone has a computer and internet.
That's true. So how do we bridge that digital divide? It seems like going all in on online services could actually leave some people even further behind.
Yeah, that's a really important point. We have to make sure we're not excluding anyone. So we need to invest in things like public computer centers, digital literacy programs, and we need to make sure there are still some offline options available too. It's about meeting people where they are.
I see. What other potential roadblocks do you see?
Well, cybersecurity is a big one. As we put more and more personal information online, we make ourselves more vulnerable to hackers.
Right. All those data breaches we hear about.
Yeah.
It's a little scary to think about.
Yeah, it's definitely something we need to be very careful about.
So how can we make sure these systems are secure enough to protect our information?
Well, we need to have really strong security measures in place.
Yeah.
Things like multi-factor authentication, data encryption, regular security audits. We need to be proactive and stay ahead of the curve.
And it's not just about preventing attacks.
Yeah.
Right. It's also about having a plan in place if something does happen.
Absolutely. If there's a breach, you need to respond quickly and be transparent about it. Regaining trust is hard. So you have to be upfront and honest with people.
So it's a delicate balance. You want these systems to be user-friendly and accessible, but also incredibly secure.
Exactly. It's going to take a lot of collaboration between security experts, user experience designers, and policymakers. We need to create systems that are both secure and easy to use.
Which brings us back to what we were talking about before. This move toward online services is really about making the government more citizen-centric.
Exactly. It's about making things easier for people, giving them more control, being more transparent and accountable.
It feels like a step towards rebuilding trust between people and the government.
I agree. And this passport initiative is a great example of that. It sets a precedent for other government services. It shows what's possible.
Okay, so we've talked about the big picture stuff, the potential benefits and the challenges. But let's get practical for a minute. Let's say I'm sitting here at home, ready to renew my passport online. What can I actually expect?
Okay, so first things first, you go to that website we talked about, travel.state.gov online.
Okay, got it. Now what?
You'll need to create an account, just some basic information like your name, birth date, passport number.
Okay, easy enough. What about the passport photo?
You'll need to upload a digital photo, make sure it meets their requirements. But there's lots of info online about how to get a good passport photo.
Okay, cool. So I've uploaded my photo. What's next?
Then you'll answer a few questions about your travel plans. And you'll pay the fee online. No stamps, no trips to the post office.
Nice. Super convenient. Then what?
You can track your application status online. And they'll send you updates by email, so you'll always know where your passport is.
This sounds almost too good to be true. Are there any catches? Like, are there some cases where I can't renew online?
Yeah, there are a few exceptions. If you're applying for your very first passport, or if your old passport was lost or stolen, or if you need to change your name or any other personal information, then you'll still have to go in person.
Got it. So there are few limitations. But for most people, this is a huge improvement.
It is. And as more people start renewing online, it should free up resources for the people who do need to go in person.
So it's a win-win for everyone.
Exactly.
I'm really impressed with this new system.
Me too.
It really feels like they've thought of everything.
It does.
It's a great example of how the government can use technology to make things better for people. This whole conversation has really got me thinking.
Yeah, me too.
It's exciting to see these changes happening.
It is. Yeah, it's a big question. But I think it's really exciting to think about. What if we could renew our driver's licenses online, register our cars, pay our taxes? What if we could vote online? I mean, the possibilities are kind of mind-blowing.
Right. It's like a whole new world.
Yeah.
But I also have to wonder about the risks. Like, what about security? Is it really safe to put all of our information online?
Yeah, that's a valid concern. And it's something we have to take very seriously. As we move towards a more digital government, cybersecurity has to be the top priority.
No question. I mean,
Yeah.
we hear about these data breaches all the time. It's scary to think about what could happen if our government data was compromised.
Absolutely. We need to have the strongest possible security measures in place, and we need to be constantly updating them to stay ahead of the hackers.
So it's not just about making things convenient. It's about building trust. People need to know that their information is safe.
Exactly. And that trust has to be earned. We can't just tell people to trust us. We have to show them that we're taking security seriously.
And what about the digital divide? How do we make sure everyone has access to these online services?
Right. That's another big challenge. We need to invest in digital literacy programs, make sure everyone has access to affordable internet, and provide support for people who need help using these new technologies.
It sounds like a lot of work.
It is, but it's important work.
Because it's about more than just making things easier. It's about making sure everyone has equal access to the services they need.
Exactly.
So it sounds like building a truly citizen-centric digital government is a pretty complex undertaking.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not just about creating websites and apps. It's about addressing these bigger issues of security, equity, and trust.
Right. It's about using technology to empower people, not to create new barriers.
You said it.
Well, this has been a fascinating conversation.
I know, right?
It's given me a lot to think about.
Me-
And I'm really excited to see how all of this unfolds in the years to come.
Me too.
Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive. But before we go, I want to remind everyone that the new online passport renewal system is available now. You can find it at travel.state.gov online. So if you're due for a renewal, give it a try and let us know what you think.
And for those of you who are dreaming of warmer weather, don't forget to check out Merida Magic on YouTube. They have tons of great information on the history, culture, and latest happenings in Merida, Mexico. Like and subscribe to their channel for more great content.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of online passport renewals and the future of government services. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep questioning the world around you.